الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الخلق أجمعين أبي القاسم محمد وعلى آله الطيبين الطاهرين. Long time ago, when I went to university, I used to buy older textbooks because they were cheaper. One time I bought an older edition, but the professor said, no, you have to buy a newer edition. You see, when you write a book or even an article, you would check it over and over again, many times before it is submitted or published. After that, maybe a few years later, when you read your own book, you find things that could have been improved or updated. This idea applies to any book, but not the Quran. In fact, the older it gets, the more discoveries are found in it. We still have much more to learn from the Quran. The Quran was revealed over a time span of 23 years. It contains many subjects such as faith, ethics, history, law, stories, and so on. Yet, one of the miracles of the Quran is the unity of its concepts. It contains more than 6,000 verses, yet you cannot find any contradictions in the message. The words, the phrases, the sentences, and the content are all connected and balanced beautifully. Today, we will talk about the mountains in the Quran. One verse in the Quran indicates that the mountains are not static. They are rather continuously moving, which is also related to the movement of the earth. In chapter 27, verse number 80, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, وَتَرَى الْجِبَالَ تَحْسَبُهَا جَامِدَةً وَهِيَ تَمُرُّ مَرَّ السَّحَابِ صنع الله الذي أتقن كل شيء إنه خبير بما تفعلون. Meaning, and you see the mountains firmly fixed, but they are passing on like clouds. That is the design of Allah, who has perfected everything. Surely He is all aware of what you do. And you see, the Quran, this verse, the Quran compares the movement of the mountains to the movement of the clouds. Systematic, with a calm pattern. People thought, and many of us still think, that the mountains are standing still because we see them fixed. However, scientific findings confirm that they do actually move in more than one way. They are moving steadily, so the mountains are fixed on the ground. So the movement of the mountains is linked to the movement of the earth. When we are sitting, for example, we think that we are stationary. Yet, according to science, at the cosmic level, we are not stationary at all. The earth rotates on its axis through space at about 1,600 kilometers per hour. And everything on earth, including the mountains, is moving at the same rotational speed with it. We would have to leave this system in order to see this. We have to leave the earth and the atmosphere to be able to notice this rotational movement. Like if you leave the earth and look at it from far away, similar to when someone is sitting in a spaceship, looking from the top, they would see the earth moving and the mountains with it. So we ask here, did Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam have a spaceship 1,400 years ago? How do people think he came up with this verse? Interesting, isn't it? Let's take a break. We will be right back. Welcome back. Moving on to the next verse. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. أَلَمْ نَجْعَلِ الْأَرْضَ مِهَادًا وَالْجِبَالَ أَوْتَادًا. Meaning, have we not smoothed out the earth like a bed and made the mountains as pegs or stakes? The Quran describes mountains as أوتادا, which means stakes or pegs. That means part of it is above the ground, which is the part that we see, and the other part is underground. Is this description accurate? Let's see. Well, according to many academic sources, the Quran is correct. Mountains are like icebergs. You see the tip of them, that's a visible part. The earth crust is the thin layer on which we live, and underneath are there's like the hot liquid magma. The underground part of the mountain goes deep into the mantle like a tent stake or peg. This is another comparison, beautiful comparison here. Mountains hold the earth crust on top of the magma, similar to the stakes holding a tent onto the ground. Let's move on to the next. So here's the mountain. That's the part that we see. This is the part that we don't see under the ground. No one has seen this before. It was only with new science, like technology, that we were able to discover this. Now, moving on, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, خَلَقَ السَّمَاوَاتِ بِغَيْرِ عَمَدٍ تَرَوْنَهَا وَأَلْقَى فِي الْأَرْضِ رَوَاسِيَ أَن تَمِيدَ بِكُمْ. Meaning, He has created the skies without pillars that you may see, and casted mountains into the earth, lest it shakes with you. The word alqa means to cast, to throw. Some new scholars think that this could be a reference to the formation of the mountains. Mountains are formed as a result of the tectonic plates colliding with each other. Part of the collision folds up to form the mountain that we see, and the other part folds down. So the tectonic plates, they move towards each other like that, and then the big part, the bigger part of the mountain goes underneath, down to something similar to an anchor. Okay. Now, this is the last presentation. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to accept your good deeds. Eid Mubarak, and inshallah we will meet again with more of the miracles of the Quran. Walhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.